Looking for a way to reach out to your PCSOI, your past clients of sphere of influence, with a postcard campaign that's automated and it goes out on holidays to let your people remind your people of you once a month throughout the year. Then you're in the right place. I'm going to show you how to create a custom holiday postcard campaign, or at least I'm going to show you what I've done, and then it give you some ideas. So if that's something you're interested in, you're in the right place. Hi, welcome to the RAMS Agents Production Coaching Call. The goal of the call is to help you sell more homes by maximizing your repeat and referral closings by implementing the Referral Agent Mastery System into your practice. My name is Mike Cerrone, co-founder of RAMS Agents. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in. Before I show you the postcard campaign, so today I'm going to show you the postcard campaign so you get to see what it actually looks like, show you how I put it together, show you why I think it has some elements that could be valuable for you, and the way to put it just on autopilot so it happens throughout the year and you don't have to think about it after you set it up. Probably takes a couple hours to set up, and then it's done for the whole year. All right, so before I get into that, I'm just going to share a quick story. Had a busy day yesterday. It was one of those 12, 13-hour days. Got a new listing that came on the market, which was pretty exciting. And we did a coming soon. And we ended up generating 7 offers that had to be reviewed and negotiated. And we talked to a lot of other agents on top of that, and tried to get some of the people that did generate offers to bring better offers. And so it was a full day of talking to agents pretty much all day long, working the phones and working the email and text and reviewing offers, and then finally talking to my seller late in the day. We scheduled a call at 4, and then more offers came in, and so then it was 4 and 4:30, then 5 and 5:30, and I think we eventually talked to 5:30 or 6 the first time, and then finally got a counter put together and sent over. I wanted to share that with you. Just two quick thoughts. One was that I'm in a slower market now. I'm in Denver. It's not dead market, but it's a slower market than it was, and so there's it's not typical to have a lot of multiple offers and offer situations. I'm working a niche that helps in that area. Number one, but number two, this coming soon approach works really well. So if you have a property you think could be interesting to the market, consider doing the coming soon approach. And what that is you tease the market for a week, you bring it out on a day. In my case, I like to bring it out on Friday. So I open up showings on Friday in the MLS. I have showings Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and everybody knows the rules that showings don't start till Friday. They also know the rule that if you're interested, you need to bring an offer by Monday at noon, which they did. And that you need to give me an acceptance deadline of Tuesday at noon, which they did. And when it works, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It's a very fast-paced day, and you get a fast closing. If this all works out, I talked to the seller on December 1st. Right now is January 13th, and we should have a closing by January 27th with the offer that we picked. So it's a really fast cycle. If you can get into it and make it work, that's why I'm bringing it up. I also want to share with you just real fast. Again, I'm going to do the postcard campaign. That's what I'm here for today. But I want to show you real fast the tool that you might consider putting together if you're going to do this kind of thing and you're dealing with multiple offers. So let me just show this real fast. I'm going to share with you my multiple offer spreadsheet. And this is a sample one. This is not from yesterday, but this is a sample. What I created was a spreadsheet to track all these different offers. And what I do is I pull up on my screen, on one half of the screen, I have my offer, and on the other half of the screen, I have the spreadsheet, and I just go through the offers step by step for all the fill-ins, and I enter the fill-ins into my spreadsheet, which takes a lot of time. But what it does is it makes sure that you completely understand your offer. You have complete clarity. There's no confusion over what's in the offer, so you can talk to your seller, your client about the offer with complete confidence. You know what's in there, and you can answer all their questions. So it took quite a while to put this together, maybe a day or two. But now I can review an offer within 30 minutes when I'm really flying, and I can then present that to the seller. And when you get a multiple offer, it's super valuable because I can compare side by side what the offers are to share with my buyer, and which I did last night. I just gave them a copy to this. This is on Google. I'm trying to remember what they call their spreadsheet sheets. And I just sent them over a link to it. So we looked at it together on the phone, and they were able to make a quick decision on what they wanted to do, much faster than I was. I was trying to walk through it, and they said, no, I want to have this one and this one, and boom, that's what we did, and they got their answers. So I have a summary sheet. I have each column up here talks about each offer. There's the summary information up at the top that they want to talk about, typically the numbers. I've got it just calculated. I'm not going to go too far into this thing today, but I've got all the numbers that come up into this part of the sheet on purpose. And then down here is where I'm doing all my entries from line 41 all the way down to 242. So 200 lines. There's a lot of stuff in your contracts. People don't recognize how much we do as real estate agents. There's a lot going on. We're protecting our people from a lot of mistakes. Any one of these could be a mistake that could cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars, or even a deal, or even their dream home, or whatever, whatever they have at risk. You'll notice I have red through here. That's highlighting for me things that I want to go look back at and make sure I get cleared up and maybe change. Anyway, I just want to give you a quick view of that. What do you all think about that? Let's do that real quick. Do you have any comments or questions on this before I go into the postcard campaign?
Very useful tool. What about, I notice you've got 2B, 2C, and you've got 6, 6B, 6C with the note backup. So what are those designations?
That's a great question. So what I had there was I had for the original offer from the buyer, from this buyer, and then I got a second offer from the same buyer. So in the negotiations, I have a whole process, and maybe we'll go. I did a call about this a while back, but maybe in the future we'll do it again, where I try to work all the buyers to bring me their highest and best offer, and using different techniques as we're going along. For the whole reason this works is urgency. They have a deadline. They have all these deadlines and timelines they've got to meet, the buyers, and so they're under a little bit of pressure to make things happen. And so you can do this, and they will bring their best offer if they are really interested. So like 2 brought a second offer, 6 brought a second offer. This was one of my transactions from the past. Let's see, 6 brought 3 offers. They brought the first, then they beat it, and they beat it again. And the winner actually ended up being 7. Okay. Anyway, it was kind of interesting. And good. Any other questions before I close this down? All right, cool. I just wanted you to know that you can use tools to help you analyze these things. I've spent all day on this yesterday. We got a counter over to the buyer. I expect a signature on that this morning for noon. I don't think I would have been able to do that without a tool like this. Right? It would have been just a giant mess because we had seven offers. Okay. I don't think I would have been able to review them fast enough and get an answer to my client and show it with clarity. All right, let me close this down. I'm going to switch gears. All right, now I want to move over into the postcards that I promised. And again, before I do that, let me just remind you what we're doing here. So these are postcards that go out to your PCSOI, your friends, family, and past clients, to let them know that you have that you're in business, and to remind them that you're around. Again, this is going out to your friends, family, and past clients, a postcard campaign to remind them that you're around and that they should be thinking about you if they think about real estate, and they should send you some business. So it's a little different group, a little different marketing than you would do out to the general public, people that don't know you. In that situation, you're typically doing direct response, where you want to make an offer and have a call to action, and it's more structured. In this case, the most important thing is just to remind them of you. These people already know, like, and trust you. You just want to get your face in front of them as much as you can. And so I designed a postcard campaign to do that. So let me share that with you. And again, I just did it based on holidays, one holiday per month throughout the year. Show you what that looks like. All right, so here's the back of the postcard. As Kim and I, you'll notice our picture pops out, the back of the postcard, upper right corner. That's the most important thing to me. The rest of it, I don't even care about. But it's probably 90% of what is important in this postcard is just that they see our face and remember us, okay? And then if they have a need, we want to be around. So the back of the postcard, I'm letting them know, hey, if you have a need for buying, selling, or if you have somebody you'd like to refer, or if you know somebody who has an inherited property, because that's happening more and more. Inherited properties, it's expected in the United States that inherited properties are going to be around 50 million transfers of real estate over the next 20 years. 50 million properties are going to be transferred over the next 20 years due to inheritance. And it's already started because the baby boomers we're losing the baby boomers and their generation at a rapid pace. And so there's a lot of inherited property out there. And so I want to let them know, hey, if they've got that kind of situation, they're their friends, give us a call. So they're going to buy, and then when I give a little note about that, sell, a little note about it, refer, inherit. I'll run through that real quick in case you can't see it. I'm not sure how big I can make this. I could probably make this a little bigger. Let's see if I do this, by the way, in Canva. I think that's about as big as I can get it. And so hey, thinking about buying a property, call us to receive a list of homes that match your exact criteria and get instant notification when your dream house enters the market. So just a quick little note, quick little offer. Sell, hey, thinking about selling a property, call us to find out how much it's worth, how long it will take to sell, how much cash you will receive in your pocket, and tips to maximize the price. All right. Refer, friend, relative, or coworker need help with real estate anywhere in the world, call us. We can help personally, local, or connect them with a top agent in any market. Okay, so I want them to know that. And then inherit, hey, do you or anyone you know need help preparing and selling an inherited home, probate property, estate house, or trust asset? Call. We specialize in these situations. All right, so this is the back of the card. Up here, we have, of course, our name and our contact phone number, real estate brokers, a little bit about our experience, our company, and our disclosure that, hey, if they're already currently listed, this is not intended to solicit their property. Let me get this back. Okay, so that's the back of the card each and every month. And then we got some uniqueness on the front of the card. So here's an example for January. It's just a simple little thing. It's just got a little thing about Happy New Year. And then, hey, thinking about moving, call or text us. Here's our phone number. That's it. Okay. And then, and again, what's the most important thing here? Blake knows. Yeah.
The invitation.
Yeah. It is an invitation to call us if they have a need. The most important thing on this one to me is the picture. It's the picture, getting our face out there in front of them. Tristan, were you about to say that? I'm sorry. I think I cut you off. Yeah. So yeah, it's the picture. It's just a reminder. Remember what this is for. This one is not a heavy duty marketing piece. It's just getting out in front of our people once a month, reminding them we're in real estate, which, by the way, this is January. It's critical you get out in front of your people as often as possible over the next 6 months. Do not miss this opportunity. Do not wait. Do not pause. Reach out, work your tail off right now to get out in front of your people. They have to remember that you are in business. Okay, so that's January. Here's February. We got a Valentine's Day, cute little picture. But the most important part, again, is our picture. And then we've got St. Patrick's Day for March. For April, we've got Happy Easter. For May, we've got Memorial Day. For this June, there's not a lot of good holidays in June, so we just went with a summer. We could have done Flag Day. We went with summer. Happy Independence Day in July. We've got back to school in August. We've got Labor Day in September. We've got Happy Halloween in October. We've got Happy Thanksgiving in November. And then we've got Merry Christmas in December. So you tie into a holiday, it's really easy and just go. And so we designed all these different pieces, one for each month. You can pick any holiday you want. I'll tell you what I did there, by the way. I just went to Google, I typed in USA. Actually, I started with holidays. I guess I should have gone back. There we go. USA major holidays each month. And I found a couple, like here's the United States, the actual federal holidays that they have. So I looked for any of those that I liked. And then I also looked over here on Hallmark. Hallmark has has holidays per month to try to stimulate some ideas of what were options that I could do. like I guess I just noticed you could have done April 18th, tax day. Yay, everybody would love to have that one. You get the idea. So I designed these cards in Canva. We have a free account over here at Epic. You can get a free account. This one's actually the more advanced account, the pro account. You have to pay a few bucks for. It gives you, the reason it's valuable is you get these pictures that you can add into the background. But you can design this any way you want, use your own pictures if you have a free account. All right, then the second tool that we use is we have to get it mailed out. And so for that, I use Thanks.io, which is another tool we get over here at Epic. And it's our mail out program. And so I just put it into a campaign where we mail out once a month. And I pick the day. This program will estimate the day of arrival, and then it will mail before that, so the card gets there. And I actually backed it up a couple days, I think 3 days on each one. So as an example, this is Valentine's Day, and if that happens on the 14th, I said, hey, I want it to get there by the 11th. I want it to get there a couple days early, and then I'll have it for a couple days, and they'll either keep it or throw it or whatever, but they'll have it. So that's what I did. So I've got the February one all signed up, all set up. This is all prepared and ready to go. I no longer have to think about any of this. It's already set, and it will go out to anybody I add to the list for the rest of the year. But I've got February and March and April and May and June and July and August and September and October and November and December already in there and set up. Okay. So a couple other little pieces. We're almost done. The back of the card I put into, if you're doing this in a program, in the program itself, this is a message template. I did 2 of them. I did one for a small postcard if I decide to go out with a small version. And then I do one with a larger postcard, larger backing for the postcard, just because the dynamics change slightly. And so that's what that looks like. But it's just, it's uploaded in there, and then I just connect them when I create that campaign. And here are all the templates put in at the front image of the card. All right, any questions on that before I go on?
Are all these automated?
Yeah, it's all set and ready to roll. So that's right here. This is what they call a campaign. And so it's already, I set it up. Let me just tell you those steps again. So I created it in Canva, then I downloaded it, then I uploaded it in, here's the back of the card. So this is in the Thanks.io, the mailing system. Here's the front of the card, or excuse me, the back of the card, larger. I decided to go with large. I didn't know which way I'd go first. Then here are all the fronts. The fronts don't matter whether it's large or small. It will adjust them, which is pretty cool, as long as it's the same dynamics, either a 4x6 or a 6x9, and I'll do either one or the other. By the way, the mail out on this is less than $1 a piece. It's pretty reasonable and inexpensive. I think it's 73 cents currently, 73 cents for a small one and 89 cents for a large one, something like that. In any event, here are all the cards, the fronts. And then to answer your question, Tristan, here is that all combined into the campaign. So in the campaign, I set the date and I say what's going to go out. So I'll open up one of these as an example. This is how we set up. It says, hey, what do you want to send? I want to send a postcard. What size? I pick the size. It says, hey, what do you want on the front? And I say, hey, I want this item up here. That was February. Let me say I'll change it. Like there's March. I just did it by the month for my naming. Here's April. But mine was going to be February. Okay. And then the back of the card, which it's currently not shown, but let's try it. Let's change it. So the back of the card, change that to that. Okay, so now let me go back, and this is 6x9. So the back of the card, boom. Okay, and so now it's got the front of the card, the back of the card, and it says, hey, where do you want to send it? I want to send it to my list of my PCSOI. I want to send it on a specific date. And it says, hey, when do you want the card to arrive? Hey, this is when I want it to arrive, 3 days before the event. Because I had to know that it was February 14th. So February 11th is when I want it to show up. I don't want it to append, it'll append or current resident if you want. That'd be like if you're sending out a general mailing. But these are my people that I know. I don't want it to say that on their card. And then once I have that, I'll click save. And if I'm building the campaign, I'll click save and add another. Okay, does that make sense, Tristan? And it's just all set up. So you'll notice the value here, all these dates are already set up, ready to go. The pieces, it's going to go automatically unless I shut it off all throughout the rest of the year. I'm done with that. So for me, by the way, this is the base. This is just a base contact. I can do other things. I could do events. I could do just listed, just sold, evidence of success. I can do whatever else I want on it. But if I get super busy, like my day yesterday, where I was working for 13 hours straight, I can't do this, right? So this is going on in the background automatically. I don't have to think about it. It's mail, so I know it's going to get delivered. I know that the odds are they're going to look at it for at least a second, at least while they're throwing it in the trash. And remember, I want them to just see my face. And remember, I'm in real estate. And then it's possible, I'm just visualizing, it's possible they're looking through it and going, oh yeah, Sally Jones, my cousin, was thinking about moving. And why don't I give her this card? I forgot it. I forgot that Mike and Kim were in business. Boy, I'm glad they sent this over. Whatever. Okay. Hadn't talked to them in a year or 2 or 3. Does that make sense? All right. Cool. Any other questions on this before I close it down?
No, none from me.
Cool. Good job, Tristan. All right. All right, cool. Thanks for letting me share. Hope that was helpful. Let's do this. Sorry, open up, trying to find my notes. Where'd my notes go? All right, well, I lost my notes, but let's do this. Let's open this up for if you've got an issue that you would like us to address while we've got the mastermind here together. And by the way, glad everybody's here. Thank you for being here, everybody in the mastermind. If you have any questions for the group, any burning issue that you need to have addressed, this is a good time to do it. There's my notes. We all got it figured out. Sweet. Just remember, this is the time to get out in front of your people. I want to emphasize that over and over again. And for the people in this group, I'll also point out, let me just do that real fast.
Good morning, Mike.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's Yevon. Yeah, hi.
Hey, Yevon.
Happy New Year. Regarding farming you just showed, how are you looking for the people addresses, like for new people in your neighborhood with the names, and how you input them in your system, in your software?
Yeah, you betcha. So let me whip back to that. Let me share. Let me get back to that screen. Hold on. Okay. So first of all, I want to point out what this is and get some clarity. So this is not a farming campaign. That would be, you could use this for a farming campaign if you chose. It just doesn't have any strong call to actions that I might make a more specific and unique call to action if I were going to be doing geographic farming. For instance, what do I mean by that? Let me close this so I can get to it. All right, so we've got the back of this postcard. So this is the front, and you'll notice it's the same on each card. Notice the bottom is all the same on each card, right? It's just uniform, right? Okay, but there's no real call to action. I mean, I guess there's a minor one, thinking about moving call or text. Yeah, that's a fine. On the back of the card, again, it has some call to action, some issues, but they're very light. If I were going to do geographic farming, this is going out to my past clients and my friends and family for referrals. If I were going to do a geographic farm, I would only pick one of these, like probably selling, because I'm usually looking for listings, and I would make an offer specific to sellers. You know, in the old days, it was pretty easy. What's the value of your home? Because they didn't have access to that information. So CMA was the most powerful one. It still is a very strong one. But you could use that or make a plan today. Another one that would be very strong in a geographic farm is a cash offer. Would you like a cash offer on your property? Would you like to sell it in as fast as 7 days and sell as is? Those are strong offers today that work. Anyway, I would go with one. If I were going to do to strangers, I would go with a one offer approach, just one offer. You're going to have the highest success rather than trying to throw a kitchen sink at them. Because remember, especially postcards, but anything, their messaging is really fast. They got to pick up what you're throwing down in 2 seconds or less, or literally it gets thrown away. So they've got to read it, understand it, and decide yes or no in 2 seconds. So you only have time for one offer. So you're going to make your best, strongest offer to a stranger on like a postcard. Does that make sense, Yevon?
Yes, it is.
Cool. Cool. Yeah. So this is not designed for geographic farming. That'd be something different. This is for PCSOI, friends, family, and past clients.
Okay,
and the most important thing on this one is not the offer, it's the picture. It's the reason I designed my own. The Thanks.io has some cards you can send out and you can plug in really fast, and it's good. If you have nothing else, that's the way to go. But it's a really small picture of you. And I wanted a really big or bigger picture of us, because that's the most important thing to me in this card, is to have our picture really big, right? In fact, if I could change anything, I'd probably just make our picture bigger. I just have the whole card be our picture because of what it is. It's going out to PCSOI. Okay.
Yep.
All right, cool. I don't have anything to share with you, Yevon, right now for geographic farming, only just some of those ideas. When you're doing geographic farming, are you considering geographic farming? Is that why you asked?
Yes, I just want to, like add each year, like one extra, tool to my boxes, and that's what I'm thinking, like, yeah, because I know like in the past you did a lot farming here, you're kind of like big with these ideas and strategy. That's what I'm asking. Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you, Yevon. Yeah, you're an expert at working with buyers, by the way. Super impressed that you're closing 50 buyers a year. That is like next level, top of the food chain, top 1%, probably top 1/2 of 1%, probably top 1% of 1%. I mean, seriously, there's very few people that can do 50 buyers. That's insane and very impressive. My days, in my heydays, I was doing listings at a high rate. I've been thinking about that this week as I've been busy. Like, how the hell did I even do it? I don't even know how I did it. Just the volume, just the craziness of the volume. I just was young and willing to do it, I guess. But like I took 21 listings in 1 month, right? In 30 days. So you have to have a system. That was all geographic farming. Okay. And then another program we did through mail, we did really well. That was with another business. So I've got some experience with mail, and mail still works. internet is great. It absolutely is great. And these principles will work on the internet. But I do still know a lot of agents doing very, very well with geographic farming, mainly because a lot of the other agents got out of it. And so you kind of have a medium to yourself or not a lot of competition. Whereas when I was doing it, there was tons of competition. You really had to stand out because we didn't have the internet. So we had to figure out a way to get to people in bulk. And that was basically mail. If you're going to do a geographic farm, you've got a couple different concepts that you want to get across. Okay. One is you always want to make an offer in everything you send. That's what I was talking about. So some kind of response offer where they're contacting you. They got to reach out to you for something. You got to give them a reason to contact you because you're sending them out a piece and you want them to call you, right? You want them to text you. You want them to go online and fill out one of your forms. You want them to do one of your QR codes and go to your website and fill out a form. You're trying to figure out how you want to get them back to you, some kind of response mechanism or a funnel. So you have to decide what that is. You're going to test different offers to see what's the most powerful. And as I mentioned, it's probably going to be what's the value of your home. If you're in a place where they're doing move up, you get a list of all the properties that they want, like a new property. You could do cash offers. These are all response mechanism call to actions. The other thing that you're going to want to do in your marketing pieces is you're going to want to show that you are the expert in that market and that area. Okay, so that's the thing you're trying to promote in all of your marketing. So I started with a newsletter, then I did postcards, then I did a full color magazine, and then I did a full color newspaper. And the reason was I wanted more and more space because I was getting more and more successful to show my evidence of success. Okay. So I was showing, hey, I've got this listing in your area. I've got this one I just sold in your area. This is what your neighbor's home is selling for. This is what your neighbor is asking for. Okay. That's what it eventually became. And then mixed in there were all kinds of call to action offers to come back in. So as I said, originally it was how much is your home worth? Can you get a list of properties? And then as I opened up a mortgage company, it was get your financing, refinance your property. I sent out a refinance your property at one time, and I was just getting started, and 50 people wanted to refinance their property. It was insane. I was going nuts that month. So you create, but you got to test offers. I would put out offers and nobody would reply at all. I would get bombs all the time, by the way. I just know that you're going to get bombs all the time that don't work, and you just have to keep testing. All the way back at the beginning when I didn't have any success, and I'm almost done talking, all the way back at the beginning when I didn't have any success, what I did was I promoted the success of others. What do I mean by that? I would say, here are all the homes that sold in your neighborhood. And at the bottom, I'd say they were listed by other agents because you have to make a disclosure based on whatever your MLS is. So other agents sold these homes, and I'll put a star by the one that I sold. But I would give them the raw data of this is the address and this is the price and it had this number of bedrooms and bathrooms, the square footage. I'd give them some particulars, and I would just line item. In the very early days, it was all black and white. And then as it grew, you might have a picture or something. These are things they could get off the internet now. They didn't have that access then, but today I would still present it as though, hey, this is all the information, because they're absorbing it that you are now the expert in the field. Make sure your picture is gigantic so they see that it's you. Every month they see you, and they tie you with all this real estate. They see Yevon and real estate, Yevon and real estate, Yevon and real estate, Yevon and real estate. And then when they're ready to move, if they're not attached to an agent, they can't remember their old agent because their old agent didn't stay in touch with them, and their old agent went out of business. Their friends and family aren't in the business. You'll have a lot of competitors, but there's enough people, a good 10, 20, 30% that don't have an agent. And so you get in front, you blast out to enough folks with these kind of mediums that you'll get response as if you do it well. And so it worked well. I sold 113 homes in 1 year. Most of it geographic farming. That was the number one thing that was generating all that. Now I had to mail out to a lot of people to make that work. Okay, at that level, I was sending out to 10,000 properties a month. All right, 10,000 properties a month, often twice a month. Okay, I mean, I was getting aggressive. I was doing all kinds of wild things to test, to see what was going to work. If you don't do it at least monthly, don't do it. Okay, and in the early days, in the very early days, I was doing twice a month with those very early newsletters and then postcards. I remember the old black and white. I did black and white postcards. We'd have to stamp them because we were doing them ourselves. I say we because it was me, and then I had an assistant who was helping me label them and stamp them. And we didn't have the sticky stamps. We had to wet them. You had to lick them. You didn't want to lick 1,000 stamps. So I think I started with a list of either 1,000 or 2,000. I was really aggressive in the early days. That's a really big list to start with. But we got a machine that would wet it and stamp it, and it never worked quite right. It would jam, and all kinds of wild stuff. But eventually the technology has helped, so that's much easier. Like this company I just showed you, thanks IO. You have no idea how good you got it. That you can just pay them a couple bucks and they'll send that thing out, and cheaper than you can do it. Yeah. All right, so now I'm through talking. What do you got?
And the question I have regarding is it gonna work for first home buyers? Because I'm thinking this year, just to narrow a little bit down to first home buyers,
You say first time home buyers, is that what you said?
Yes. Yeah, to send this type of kind of envelopes to people, if you know someone who wants to buy, maybe it's their kids, things like that. And just think about this way, I know it's working for listings pretty much like you just said, but what do you think about first home buyers? Is it gonna work? Because it's pretty much the same but little different angle.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can do that, and I have done that. For instance, when in my niche, it was condos and townhomes, so it's a lot of first-time home buyers are purchasing those. A lot of investors, a lot of first-time home buyers. So I would make offers to first-time home buyers. When I eventually grew that out into a newspaper, part of those offers would be to sellers, and part of those offers would be to buyers, and part of that would be buying for your first property, buying your first home. And I would send that into areas where they were renting, right? So for apartment buildings. Let me just mention something real quick before I talk too much about the offer. Make sure that the target, the people that you're sending this to, are people you want to work with, number one. And number two, that they can perform. What I mean by that today is affordability is a big issue. So make sure in your market, a first-time home buyer can actually afford to purchase a first-time home buyer property. Things have gotten so out of whack over the last 5 years with inflation and everything that's gone on. I won't go into all the details, but the affordability is a problem. So go and check your median income versus the median payment, the payment on the median house, and make sure that they're in alignment. Because if the people can't buy, it won't work. I know because I just played with a campaign doing this a couple of years ago, because I had this vision that I was going to just do the marketing side and then hand it off to agents and let them go run in the field. And I started the marketing up, and I was getting response, but then my lenders tell me, look, we can't get any of these people qualified. They don't have the income to buy the properties today. The things are just too out of whack. And so after I did that for, I don't know, maybe 6 months to 12 months, I generated tons of leads, but I couldn't get them into the properties. So it wouldn't work. So that's why I'm saying start with affordability. If your area is such that your pricing and your income is in alignment, that you can create affordability, then it's a great market to go after. In the old days, first-time home buyers accounted for 40% of the market. So that was a great market to go into if you were willing to work really hard and work with first-time home buyers. If you do go that direction, let me just tell you that the thing you want to promote to them is the payment. It all comes down to the payment first. How much is the monthly payment? That's what I was just talking about, but that is also what you promote to them. Get into this home for $782 a month, or whatever it is. There's a promotion of the payment. And then the second part is they're going to have a hard time with the down payment. So if you have a way to get into special financing in your area where they have a low amount down or no down, then that's something you promote. So you get into it with this payment and this much down, because these are their fears and they're legitimate fears. The third thing they're going to have a fear about is their credit. They don't know if they may have tried in the past and they were told they couldn't do it because of credit. So you may need to have somebody who can help you with credit repair, and you may promote that. Hey, even if you've got a blemish in the past, you may be okay. Why don't we talk? And you just partner up with a lender who can talk to them, qualify them, and help them clean up their credit if they need to. So it's a niche. It's a niche that you can do well in, and you can do volume. It is a lot of running around. They are smaller commissions, but the most important thing you have to look at is the affordability before you spend a lot of time, effort, and money in that area. Does that make sense, Yevon?
Yep. Yes.
Once you do that, then it becomes a lot of fun. If that's in alignment, because you'll show them pictures today, whether you're doing it in mail or postcards, or whether you're doing it on the internet and social media or whatever, show them pictures or video of the property. Say, hey, you could get into this for only this amount down, or only this much per month, or share both of those items. Those are the two things they care about. How much is it do I have to put down? How much is it per month? You're going to learn all about the intricacies of it. Can their family help them, gift the money to them for the down payment? They don't know that. They're just complete newbies. They don't know anything. So you have to teach them everything there is to know about how they can make it work. It is a fun and rewarding area and end of the business. But again, if you don't have the affordability equation, don't go into it right now. Wait until the market in your area changes and prices go down or incomes go up or something has to adjust, or you'll spin your wheels and you'll hate it because you won't be able to close anybody.
Got it. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Good information.
You bet. Yeah. If I were going into it, let me ask you this, Yevon, why do you want to go after the first time homebuyer market?
It's a good question. I mean, I talked to the chat and give like, he knows, like he learning my information, right? The chat GTP. And I asked like my focus, like for next year, and what's the affordability for the market in my area, and what he suggests me to kind of focus on. And like it analyzes, like the market and says like around like you just said, like it's always on the market around like 50 to 60% first home buyers. And if you want to kind of like increase volume, because I'm sitting pretty much like on a lot of condos, and they kind of like cheap. They're around like 200, 250,000. So, and I just want to go close to like 450, like half million, things like that. And in this case, like it's easy kind of to find, my opinion, kind of like first home buyers, who are looking for homes and focus on this kind of type of people. And I also asked the chat, like how, I mean, because some of the people called me and said, oh, we found you by the chat recommendation. It means some people asking like how I can find the, agent in some area, and chat tell, okay, look, this agent, because it's always show like 4 or 5 different, like service providers. And chat said like, yeah, give me like, I asked, give me strategy, like how you can promote me more, what I have to do and focus on. And it built me the strategy, like, and show me like, okay, you have to take these steps, but you have to like narrow the niche, because if you will put like, because I'm doing Airbnb, I'm helping flippers, I help to buy multifamilies, like things like that, a lot of things. And he analyzed my kind of like social and pages online and said like, no, you have to get like something like more less kind of on different kind of like services you do. And if you narrow to kind of like one niche, for example, like investment, I kind of like will show like to the people you're doing like investments. And that's what I'm start thinking, like what I want to do and where I can make more money. Because still my kind of like people who want to buy investments, they don't buy in like big properties, they buy in like condo or like small homes, like same price, like 250. I will be staying the same kind of like range. And that's what I start thinking like, yeah, maybe I can start focus more on first home buyers and exactly on homes like single families, not like on Canva. And that's when I'm asking you, like, maybe I can, like refer people as well from like campaign, like campaign and things like that. Yeah, farming. Yeah, thanks.
Sure. So, yeah, so my question was, why do you want to work with first-time home buyers? And you went around in a lot of circles and a lot of items that you mentioned. I know, by the way, we all think that way. We think in bursts, right? And so you did that, and that's okay. But the things that came out there that I want to address, what is your number one goal? What is your number one goal? What I heard, and you tell me if this is right or wrong, is you want to increase your average sales price and you want consistent business. You already have business. I mean, 50 closings a year, you have business, but you want to increase your average sales price with consistent business. Is that the goal or not? Did I get that right or am I wrong?
Yes, this is the goal. Like, yeah, increase the price. Yeah, sales volume. Yeah.
If you want to increase your average price and do it consistently, then first-time homebuyers is probably not the area to go into. It's not the right niche, because that niche is going to be a smaller price point because they're first-time homebuyers, and it's going to be sporadic. They're going to be all over the place. They're going to be all over the place in price. They're going to be all over the place in location. You're going to be running them around. It's hard to do volume there. Now, you've done it. You are an amazing individual. But you mentioned to all of us how many hours you're putting in to make that happen. Just for anybody that doesn't know, how many hours do you work in a day?
I mean, around 12 in
Yeah.
average.
Yeah, you're crushing it, and you're working every day of the week. And I understand, I was doing that too. I get it. My point is, if you want to get more control of your time and raise your average sales price, you're probably going to have to don't stop doing what you're doing, by the way, because that's bringing in all the money. I don't want you to get the wrong impression. That's bringing in the money. But you're going to want to start shifting some of your effort into looking at these larger transactions. And the way you can focus in and target your larger transactions is by doing geographic farming or focusing in on a type of property, a niche. So you could do large apartment buildings, you could do larger homes or tract homes, or you were saying your average price is 250. What price range do you want to be in? I heard 400, 500. What do you want the price to be?
Around like 450 to 500,000.
All right, let's take 500. It's a nice round number. What kind of property is a $500,000 property in your area?
It's like single family homes and close to like 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bed. And it's pretty much more like in the suburbs. Yeah, not in Chicago.
Sure. Now, do you work, you said in the suburbs, not in Chicago. Are you located in downtown Chicago or are you out in the suburbs?
I'm in the suburbs, yeah.
Okay. So most people pick a geographic farm or an area to work that's near them. They often pick their own neighborhood because of the close, they understand the proximity and the affiliation. They understand the people and they understand what the amenities are, like where the grocery stores are and the schools, and they just understand so it's very easy for them to fold in. It may or may not be the right place for you to farm, but that's what they typically do. And you can do the same. It sounds like you live there, you understand it. You should take a small area somewhere around you. Doesn't have to be your neighborhood, but somewhere around you. And you should just start researching it. Just take some time when you have time on the side, in your 12th or 13th hour of the day, do a little research on areas and find areas that you're like, man, I like that area. You probably have some in your mind, but I would like to sell homes in that area. And it's going to be a neighborhood, right? It's going to be a type of home in the neighborhood. And then you do research to find out if there's enough sales in that area, et cetera. And then you can target the area. There's all kinds of ways to do that we can talk about later. But I think what you want to start looking at, if possible, is a shift into some geographic farming or a very focused niche farming on some properties near you in that higher price range and going after the listings. The reason you want the listings that work with the sellers is leverage, right? I mean, Yevon, you sell 50 buyers in a year. I had 50 signs out at one time, right? 50 listings at one time. Anybody could bring me a buyer at any time. I could just sit back and wait for the buyers to show up because they have to get inventory, and I had all the inventory, right? Now you want to make sure if you do that, you do it in a niche that's attractive. There's a lot of turnover. People are buying. For instance, condos and townhomes are great when the market is rising, but they suffer the fastest when the market is falling. I learned that when I was in that niche. When the market turned south, it became difficult to sell those condos. They're the first to fall off. People would rather live in a house than a condo if it's the same price, right? So condos will tend to get hit harder and take longer to sell in a downward market. In an upward market, they're awesome because of the affordability problem for a house. Most people would rather live in a house than a condo or a townhome, just in general. Okay. So that's something that you should look into and focus on. And just think, if you just said it yourself, if I could do one of those a month, if I could do 12 of those a year at 500,000, 6 million in volume, would that be good?
Right.
180 grand in GCI coming in. I don't know what you charge. I'm just throwing numbers out. And not bad little side hustle. And if it's listings, it's leverage. You can do it on the side.
Exactly. Yeah, spend less hours, right?
Yeah, and so what you're going to do is you're going to look at the, I know I'm going on and on about this, I have to wrap up, but you're going to look at the area, how many properties are available, how many properties sell each year, and then you're going to figure out, hey, can I get a percentage of that business? And something reasonable would be, if you really worked it hard, would be maybe 5% or 10% over time. You could build up to that. I had market share in certain areas that got up into the 25%. In some complexes, I was actually above 50%, but that was over a lot of time. I had to build up my reputation. A more reasonable number and more reasonable expectation would be like 5% and maybe 10%, but you're going to really have to work hard to get that 10%, right? It's not like it's just going to be automatic. So if you want to sell 12, you need to find an area there's 120 cells in, right? And how many homes is that? How are you going to reach out to them? And how are you going to do it? How are you going to get in front of them? Those are all their questions. Does any of that help?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not saying don't go after first-time home buyers. I'm just saying tougher niche, right? You could do first-time home buyers where you're targeting a geographic area around you. You could do that as well, where for instance, you could go after people who are renting luxury apartments. Now you just bumped up your price, right? They're already paying $5,000 a month in rent. Cool. They could go buy your $500,000 house or whatever. I don't know. I don't have it in my head what the conversions are, but you get the idea, right? They're paying higher rent. They could buy a higher priced house.
Okay. So you better suggest go to find the listings, not the buyers, right?
Yeah. Or you combine them, right? Like you get the listings and then you reach out to the buyers. If you really want to work with the buyers, because you're obviously very good at it, just try to work with buyers in the higher price range. Like I said, go after buyers that are already paying a higher rent. That's probably the best advice I can give you of the day if you want to bump up your price, right? Look for executives that are trying to do short-term rentals. I don't know. There's some kind of answer in there, like maybe get with relocation companies where somebody comes in and the buyer just buys for a short period of time for a couple of years before they're going to get transferred somewhere else. But they're in a higher income bracket, so they're going to be buying a higher priced home. People do that, a vision for that would be like the military. People are bouncing around every 2 years from base to base. There are people that specialize in that. They just know that there's going to be this constant turnover of people buying and selling properties every 2 years. And so they get into that cycle with those folks. You can do that same kind of concept with corporations that are relocating people around the country. They're buying and selling these properties, and it's a higher price point. If you're trying to work with buyers at a higher price point, you're trying to think about how can I do that? Right, how can I do that? If you go all the way to the extreme, and I'm going to be done, for buyers, and you want to really work high price buyers, then go work with sports figures. We've talked to people who specialize in working with high income athletes, right? These people that are making $1 million, $2 million, $5 million, $10 million, $20 million a year. They're buying $20 million properties, so you're going to work really high end buy, right? Then you only got to sell a couple of those a year, but you're going to have the challenge of how do you get in with these people, right? So everything has a pro and a con.
Yeah.
Okay. Good job, Yevon. Thanks for asking the questions. Everybody, thank you for being here. I know we ate up the time. I hope you all learned something and it was fun. We're going to wrap this up and we're going to go into our huddle. So let's do our quick huddle. Number one thing you did yesterday to move your business forward. Number one thing you're going to do today. Who would like to start?
I could start. Number one thing yesterday, I was door knocking. I had 54 knocks, 18 conversations, and 2 new connections. And then I had 2 showings at my listing and 4 showings I did with a buyer that I met last year door knocking, and she's looking to buy. So that's yesterday. Number one thing for
Wow.
today is I have some other appointments. But door knocking is my number one thing for today again.
Tristan, that is fantastic. Congratulations. What a busy, fun, and exciting day. All that door knocking, looking for new clients, and then working with current clients for showings. And did you say you wrote an offer or you're thinking about writing an offer?
No,
Oh,
no
the buyer.
offer.
But you're bringing that buyer out who's really
Yeah,
strong. You met door knocking. Yeah, like it. Good
yeah.
work, Tristan. Good job. And good job. Good luck on the doors again today.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, cool. Who's next?
I'll
I
jump
can go
in.
next.
Oh, go ahead, Yevon.
Okay. I'm gonna be fast, yeah. So my year starts from like same like Mike's from new listing. This is like super cool, and we put it on private market. It's like $500,000 home in my area where I'm living. It's kind of like our, like my friend just kind of like called me and said like, oh, we want to move to Florida, so help us to sell the home. And I put it just on private market. I didn't like have chance even like make the pictures. And people start calling me like, oh, we want to see this house. And we showed to 4 clients, with the different agents, and they make an offer, like strong offer, like 8,000 more than asking price. And my seller, I'm sorry, decided just to sell it like for 2 days, which is so cool. And yeah, so like I got lucky. And today I'm driving to get the pictures with my photographer. And it's also like nice house at 700,000. So I'm trying to push kind of hard to get like, expensive homes to sell this year, and we'll see how it goes. Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah, but
Congrats on the listings, Yevon. Way to go, man.
yes,
Yeah,
exactly. That's fantastic. Yevon, congratulations. So the 500,000, did you double in that? Did you bring the buyer in and the seller?
for this home for
The one that was
500,000.
the 500,000 and you said you found a buyer in 2 days. Were you working with the buyer and the seller?
Oh no, it just was the seller.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, that's the other reason, by the way, to go after listings. A lot of time you'll double in the transaction. You will work with the buyer and the seller, and it's easiest to work with the other agent when you are the other agent. So I did double ending when I was geographic farming, was about 25% of the time. 1 in 4, I would bring the buyer to the transaction. Okay, because you're working the niche and everybody knows you're working the niche. They know you work the neighborhood, or they know you work whatever this thing is that you've niched into. You'll find the buyers will come to you and you'll double end them. So congratulations on your 500,000 listing that went under, and congratulations on your 700 that you're working on now. Let's do more of those. Yeah.
Yep, thank you.
All right. Good job, Yevon.
So
All right,
have to
Blake,
go.
what you got?
So yesterday I was in negotiation mode, number of phone calls and discussions about a deal where I represent the seller. We don't have an agreement, but we've had some counter offer measures done, and we're going to see where we go with that now. But in fact, I took a call during our call here to kind of continue to move that forward. Today, my number one thing will be actually to work on. I met with a seller on Friday, and I need to prepare them more research and details so we can get back together and firm up a price. And I mean, we've got a schedule, a plan. They've got a good bit of work to do. It won't be ready to list until probably late March, but to put it on the market, I should say, until late March. But anyway, next steps are some pricing.
That's awesome, Blake. Congratulations. This is the time to get out in front of your PCSOI. Make sure they know that you're in business because they are thinking about it. Listen, everybody on the call today, everybody's busy. The market's picking up early this year, it sounds like. So make sure you're out there. That means our people are thinking about it earlier this year. Let's make sure we're out in front of them and they're thinking about us. Make sure you're getting out in front of your people. You have a niche. We were talking about niches, and you were just talking about the beginning of this little segment here. And I believe your niche is land, right? It's ranches and large parcels of land, farming. Is that correct?
Well, that is, I guess you could say that's a niche. I seem to know more about it than a lot of my peers in the area. There are some specialists in that, but yes, I do have a property that we're working on right now that we're trying to get sold. That's 70 acres. It is just land, but it also has a vineyard on it and blueberry patch, all kinds of cool features, but it's not a home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you're kind of falling into a niche because the last couple of times I've talked to you, you're working a lot on that. And
Yeah,
I'll just mention that's what happened to me in the condos and townhomes. I just fell into it because that's what I just started helping a lot of people with and recognized they needed a lot more assistance. There weren't a lot of people focusing on it, and it can become a niche. So be open to that. And good job, good luck, and congratulations. That's awesome.
thank you. Yeah, I have a lot of buyers that have come to me even before I had this listing and since I've had the listing. A lot of buyers that are looking for less land and more affordable. But boy, if I could find the land, I could sell it all day long. So,
Be open to that opportunity.
yeah,
Maybe that means you have an opportunity to go take a large tract, cut it up, subdivide it, and sell to these people in small tracts.
true, true.
There may be an opportunity there for you that's that's market driven. It's demand driven,
Right.
right? If you see that and it's not being met, you can be the conduit to bring it together. So pretty cool. Good job, Blake. Yesterday I mentioned already to you, I had multiple offer situation, generated 7 offers and negotiated all those, got one countered back, and we'll see that should be accepted this morning. And then today I'm going to continue to wrap up on that. And my objective is to do more reach outs for new people, new business to bring it in. That should always be the top of your mind each day. I couldn't get to that yesterday, but that should happen each day. You should be at least focused on it and think about how can I bring in a new client today? All right, cool. Everybody, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you. Have a fantastic and productive rest of your day. Take care.
Thanks. Bye, guys. See you tomorrow.